Let's tune first, folks. All right, guys, I'm Doctor McFarland. Y'all come on in. I'm going to give you time to grab your Headrush and your guitar, and you can follow along. We're going to build some rigs tonight on the Headrush core. I did have the Headrush Prime. I sold it. I just felt like it was too big. And for what I do in the studio, I need a good desktop size unit, i.e. like the core right here. So this one works for me. It works pretty good, and it does everything I need. I do kind of wish I had another row of switches, but then it'd have to be a little bit bigger. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just, it is what it is. So, regardless, come on in. We're going to have some fun. I'm going to tune. So, do. So tonight is viewer suggested Headrush rigs. That means you name the song, you name the band, you tell me what amps and effects you want in there, and you are the guide that is moving the doctor's hand to heal the world with sweet rock and roll. Something like that. Something like that, you know. Now, I've been a little off the last few months. I've been busy. My studio has been dealing with squirrel issues. So I've been cleaning out my attic and reorganizing the studio a little bit. And it's been nuts. But and I'm really thirsty. So, what am I drinking tonight? I am not drinking alcohol. This is pure water with some orange drink mix stuff in there. Now, last night, I worked on a country tune, and I used sprinkles. You can kind of hear that. I used sprinkles to create some, some percussion type stuff for a chorus. That sounded pretty good. Tonight I currently have the Telecaster strapped on, but I can grab a any other style guitar. It can be T style, S style, L style for Les Paul style. Anything with humbuckers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to YouTube real fast. And I'm also going to try and stream to TikTok, even though they're not going to hear necessarily what I'm playing, which is kind of weird. That's kind of weird. I'll figure out a way to make it happen somehow. But yeah, let me grab this link so we can share it with our friends. Get shareable link. And we want to find Headrush. Join this stream and let's build some rigs. Let's do it. Let's go. All right, cool. Let's go on to TikTok here. And we will let people know where we're at. Check what day. So viewer suggested really it's all about you guys. So I need y'all to come in. Let me know what you want. And it can be clean, it can be crunch, it can be dirty. It can be, whatever whatever we want it to be. All right, going on TikTok here. Headrush. I have been using my rig I made back in March. I've been using that one off and on. I mean, pretty much every day. Whenever I need to use my Headrush, I just use that one because it sounds good. It's got tons of sounds in it. We might break the ice here and just start off making something that I want. But currently, there's 3 people watching, and I need you to tell me what band, what song, you know, what kind of rig do you want to hear? This is all about you guys. If I can type here. Headrush rigs. Done. Done. Go live. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Go over here. Flipping my camera. All right, so hello YouTube and hello TikTok right over here. We are building Headrush rigs. So if you own a Headrush, let me know in the comments. If you own any other modeler, well, good news. You can apply these concepts to every single guitar setup in the world under the sun, wherever you're at. Regardless if you're in a studio, in a jam room, if you're preparing to do some stage, like some live performances, whether that is on, you know, festivals or any kind of tour, like theater tours, club tours, stadium tours. I don't know what you're doing. Pink Floyd, which song? Which song do you want to do? Retta? Pink Floyd. Now, Pink Floyd uses high watt amps more than likely. And I mean, we could do a Marshall to get by, but this is a good thing to think about is we know that David Gilmour used high watt amps, and that's fine. But when we listen to the song, if you didn't know what the gear was at all, if you just listen to the song, is it clean? Is it crunchy? Or is it like high gain lead type stuff? And that's really what you need to think about. So to me, it matters very little what amp you actually choose, as long as you dial in the amp within those 3 gain stages: clean, crunch, and lead. And then does it have delay? Does it have phase, flange, tremolo, chorus, whatever, right? We can even get our dirt from pedals. If we know that David Gilmour used a BK Butler on a song, or he used a tube screamer on a song, or a fuzz face, or a wah-wah pedal, you know, anything. It doesn't really matter. Comfortably numb. All right, so first of all, we're going to do two sounds for this, because the first part of the song is definitely clean, okay? So just for example, let's go in here and add an amp. We're going to do a Headrush amp. And, I mean, the deluxe gain mod, I mean, it's so good, okay? I don't even care. It just sounds really good. So we're going to bring the gain down, and we're going to bring the output level up. Okay? Something like that. Now, just for fun, I do not care if this stream gets blocked, demonetized, whatever, okay? I'm just going to go ahead and play some music like the good old days back in when I, you know, didn't get lots of money anyways. Comfortably Numb, Pink Floyd. All right, so we're just going to listen to a little bit of this. This is like a live in Pompeii thing. Let's do the original, the Wall version.
Sales on Amazon come from independent sellers.
Yes, that's right.
From Planetary Design Coffee Gear.
Do.
We had the best time. Until.
Let me mute the ads. Muting the ads. Yeah, sure. All right, so right now during this verse section, it's a lot of swell, delay type stuff. Okay, so that's what we need to worry about right now. Let's bring in our cab, and it's just going to be a B30, which is like a dual 2x12 Venice 30. Okay, let's go ahead and add in our reverb. My tray keeps coming out at me, and I don't like it. Ambiverb, air verb. Let's do 11 verb. And maybe we'll do let's do like a church. Maybe bring the mix way down and the decay up a little bit. Now for our swell delay, there's a dying delay. Again, delay, BBD. Let's do a BBD delay. We'll do an echo long. And then let me remember where the swell is. Where is our swell? Volume and dynamics, probably. Swell. Let's do that. All right, let's see what we got. All right, I don't remember what key we're in. Okay. So we're in B minor here. Let's adjust our mix. Let's bring that down. Let's turn the sync mode on so we can tap in our tempo. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Trigger sensitivity. Oh, actually, we need that lower, and we'll make the attack pretty slow. Mode slow. Okay. Now we also have, see if we can do this here. We also have some synthy stuff in the background. So let's see if we can help ourselves here. Let's do a hybrid synth. Let's do, I don't even know, like a saw pad. Now I'm going to look for the mix knob. Do we have a mix knob somewhere? Detune, saw, noise volume. Okay, maybe on let's try this. Let's do a organ pad. All right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to let's change our path so we can have this kind of path on one side. We'll make it nice and swimmy. So I'm basically doing like a parallel type thing here. Okay, once again, we'll do the 11 verb and like extra long. Alright, so we put the swell before the... Okay, so that way we get the swell of the organ coming in on one side, and the guitar over here is more dry. If that makes sense, we'll do that. Okay, it's pretty neat. And then if we want to add some overdrive, we'll go here and let's see. We got all kinds of different options, really. Maybe he had some kind of like blues breaker pedal. Hey guys, on TikTok, if you are watching right now, head on over to youtube.com or YouTube and look me up under Doctor McFarland, and you will see me live streaming over there. I will be checking any comments for any kind of rigs that you want me to make. So just let me know what you want me to do, okay? All right, let's get to the end of the song. See, all this still is very clean and organy and paddy type stuff. All right, so the chorus hits. Go here, let's crank up this gain. All right, now, the category that we're in at this point, what are we in? Okay, it's not clean, and it's a little dirtier than crunch. So we're definitely in the lead category. So if we have something like in this range where we got in this kind of gain, right, that's not dirty enough. So we got to crank it up. So I'm going to crank it up all the way. Now, the other thing you're probably thinking is, it doesn't sound exactly right because you're not playing a Strat. Okay, I get it. Let me go grab a Strat then, okay? Or at least something Stratty-er. That will make a difference. All right, this is the avocado green Reverend 6-gun TL with Seymour Duncan pickups in it. Hello, TikTok over here. Seymour Duncan. All right, so. Okay, something like that. Let me tune real fast. So this is kind of what you got to go through if you don't have AI and you don't have somebody else making your presets. You got to think in categories and just figure it out. It's like, is it clean? Is it crunch? Is it lead? Does it have delay? Does it have, whatever, what you got? And what we're going to do here is we're going to do, I'm going to make two scenes. I'm going to make two scenes here. So we're going to go to hardware assign. And let's turn this one into a scene. And we're going to do this one into a scene. We're going to hit edit. We're going to turn the sheriff off. Auto swell on. That one on. That one on. That one, the amp is obviously on. The cab on. Okay. So we got that. Now we're going to have the sheriff on, the swell off, all that off, that on, that on, and that on. Okay, let's just see what happens here. We're going to do confidently numb. June 26 for what we're doing here, okay? So here's our clean sound. Maybe put on the neck pickup. I am going to turn my speakers on, but just like low. Okay, so that way maybe TikTok can kind of hear a little bit. Okay, so then we go over to here. Okay, something like that. Maybe, just maybe, I'll put the amp in the front. Okay, that is going to hit, that amp is going to hit both sides a little bit, so it's going to be interesting. Let's put it back Let's go back here. Yeah, I'm going to keep it right there. Then I go over here. Turn down the level. Maybe turn the gain down just a smidge. Turn that back up. And then, where's my delay? Turn that mix back up. Now, using the Bucket Brigade delay, Pink Floyd either used some kind of BBD delay or like a tape echo kind of deal. They also use like a echo rec type thing. So just for example, if we went in and added a tape echo, there's also a Mooger Fooger analog delay. David Gilmour would definitely use a Mooger Fooger for sure if he was rocking out these days. Okay, so now we got a little double echo action. Okay, save that. And then go back to our other scene. Now, if I go a little extra and put the delay on that side, I have now parallel delays. And parallel reverbs as well. Okay, let's go in and name our scenes. We're going to call this... we'll call this verse. We'll call this solo. Okay? And that's really all it has to be, folks. It doesn't have to be some long, drawn-out, complicated Google search on, what was the coveted amp and pedal that he used to play his solos. Like, no. First, learn the song. I hadn't really played this song in years, but first you got to learn the song, learn the notes, get the feel of it right, and then you can start matching up and playing around with these categories of clean, crunch, and lead, and just getting it as close as you can. Okay? If you're in a cover band and you show up to a gig and you don't have the exact same Pink Floyd sound that was on the record, but you're like absolutely slaying it with like riz and stage presence and getting the crowd engaged and like audience response, and you're like wailing on those notes. It's like, dude, you're good, man. You ain't got to do nothing more than that. Okay? All right, so can you please tell us your honest opinion about how the Headrush Core compares to the Helix Stadium? Well, first of all, they both have a touchscreen. They both have Wi-Fi. They both have Bluetooth, and you can dial in rigs however you want. The Stadium does have a more flexible signal routing path if you want that kind of thing, versus the Headrush that has your predefined, route options or signal path options. clearly versus the core, you have way more switches. In your stomp box view, you can have up to 10 different switches that you can assign things to, which is great. Stadium also has capacitance switches, which makes changing parameters easy. But I mean, you got a touchscreen right here, so if I want to go adjust this parameter, I just double tap. I just start moving my finger around. I mean, it's really not a big deal. And then if you want to move different, uh, you know, effects to different switches, you just go into your hardware assign. And from there, you can just drag and drop. Okay? So, yes, capacitance switches are cool. They're very, very cool. But that doesn't mean the Headrush is not as good or can't do whatever and all that. But that's just the functionality. You're probably more worried about the sound. And I think all the modelers sound great. And they don't sound exactly the same. But it's really up to you and your ear on how you prefer to hear things. And regardless of what unit you have in front of you, you're going to, if you hear something that's just not quite right, you're going to dial that in according to your ears and to your knowledge of how you think guitar tones work. And once you get past the point of what to push, where to turn, where to put your finger on the screen, once you get past the mechanics side of things, like how to actually use the unit, I mean, all the units are easy to use. They're all great. They all sound great. And the Headrush I bought used for $450. Let me get the TikTok guys over here. I'm going to swap my camera around. So yeah, there's the Headrush core right there. Okay. I recently purchased a Kemper stage, which is right over here, the Mark II version. And guess what? The Kemper stage sounds amazing. But the Headrush also sounds amazing. So you really can't say, one or the other. But yes, I've used them all. I've had them all. I've owned them all. I've bought and sold them all. And it's just, what's your budget? Do you like touchscreens? If you do, then get a Headrush because they're the cheapest one on the market. And they do something cool like this where they have drums that you can play along with. They have a practice tool that you can practice with. That you can slow tracks up or down, right? Now the Stadium, as far as playing tracks, you have to load all those things from a computer. And you really have to get everything set up beforehand. It's not like just hitting the looper and, oh, great, now I have 8 tracks to play with that I can play along and mute and solo and whatever else. You really have to dial it in beforehand because it is a stage tool that you're creating for your stage presence in your live show and all that. So, but there's that. Do. Now, versus, apart from the sound, if I were going to play this song, I have to go learn the parts. And I just don't know the parts all that well. But I can hear a song and be like, okay, that's clean, that's crunch, that's lead, and you're good. So, like, here's the end of the song here. Now, one thing I do know that he used was some kind of like rotary speaker, like a Univibe kind of thing. So let's go to our phase and flange. And we have a stone phaser. We have a vibe phaser. We'll do that. We'll do like a dock wobble. Let's see what this does. So. Right, something like that. And then I definitely want this to be before my dirt. Yeah, putting a vibe before the dirt sounds really cool. Let's bring the depth down a little bit on here. I already have the rate at 1. Cool. Okay, so just for example, we're gonna go to our hardware sign, and we're gonna switch out this delay for our vibe phaser. Okay, so that way, anytime in the show or during the song, I can still be like, all right, I want to go to my verse clean. I actually need to go back to my scenes and edit that, so I'm going to turn that off. Go here, turn that off, and then save that. All right, so now I got a few different options here. I got my clean or my verse, whatever that is. Go to my solo, and if I get a little spicy, I can throw in the phaser. All right, cool. I think I'm done with that song. Thank you, Retta, for suggesting the tune. Hopefully that was helpful. Thanks so much for your answer and your precious pieces of advice. You're welcome. Anytime. This stuff really doesn't have to be hard. I mean, if you don't have $2,100 for a stadium, don't worry about it. I mean, the Headrush core, I think brand new, they're $6.99. Let me check on Sweetwater or Zounds real fast. I do have affiliate links in the description of all my videos, so if you want to help support the channel and you were going to buy something anyways, whether that's on Sweetwater, Zounds, or Amazon, then click through my link before you make the purchase, and then anything you buy after clicking on that link, I'll get a small commission and at no extra cost to you. Okay, so a brand new Headrush core is $6.99. Let's just round up to $700. Then if you double that, that's $1,400, and you're still not at the price of what the Stadium is, which is the non-scribble strip, non-expression pedal version of the Line 6 Stadium. So, and once again with the drums, if I go in here and turn on some drums. There you go. A little jam for you. Just throw on some drums, lay down a rhythm track, and you are just jamming all night, all by yourself. Excuse me. I'm slurping in the microphone there. I don't care. TikTok, how's it going tonight? Jay Fulton, Ray Wright. What's up, guys? Gail Hunter has joined. So once again, I'm over on YouTube, streaming live, doing a Headrush rigs, viewer suggested, whatever you want me to make. So far, Retta has suggested something. Who else got? What else you got? Okay. We're going to go ahead and go back to our rig, hit save. Actually, what I'm going to do is, let me show you how to do this real fast. We can go to set lists. I'm going to hit plus. I'm going to search for CN June 26. Hit save. And this is going to be, let's make sure we capitalize this here. HTS rigs. June 26. Okay. So now, if I go into all my rigs here, we can see I have my June rig, and then there's my rig. So when I add plus, I now have made a new rig in that set list. So I don't have to go back and try to, find where I was or, search for the rig. Because they're already in there. Okay, all HTS rigs are downloadable via my website. It is a one-time $30 fee. Okay, that is, it seems like a lot, but it's like, okay, you go out to Cookout or McDonald's or Cheddar's or something, you're going to spend $30 on a meal anyways. And I already have a few years worth of HTS rigs built up. So you can access the website, you can log in, you can go download all my previous rigs, you can watch all my previous live streams, which you can already do here on YouTube. But if you're not following along at home with your own personal Headrush, then this is a way that you can check. Okay. I'm checking to see how loud my monitor is right here. I'm going to turn down just a little bit. But if you don't want to follow along, or nor do you have the time, you can just go to the website, purchase the access, and then you can download the rigs. You can take it slow. You can download them one at a time. You can download like a month at a time and just play with them all. Whatever you want. It doesn't matter. I don't care what you do. All right, let's make a rig that I like to do. And the SLO extended range is just, my goodness, it's so good. The stock cab that I always just choose is the not the Black Duo. Where am I at? Wow, where is it? Oh, sorry. I don't know what I did. I clicked on amp instead of cab. That was my bad, guys. So I'm going to turn that down a little bit. I am going to go to my input. I'm going to bring up my threshold. Then also bring up my noise filter here. So with any kind of high gain sound, you definitely want to worry about the noise floor and the threshold of the gate. Okay, now with the cab, we can actually go into, what can we do? Yeah, we're going to go into our EQ here. We're going to bring up maybe like 100 hertz and then bring down maybe to like 6K or so. We're going to round some of those frequencies off. Okay, so let's just say, for example, we're going to put a few more amps in here. But for example, that's a good lead sound. Okay, this is, I mean, the Soldano extended range. It's just got big balls, and it sounds really good. Okay, obviously we need to add a little delay and reverb. Let's just go to reverb and go to our air verb, and we'll put in a hall, and we'll just turn down the mix a little bit, and maybe the time. Shoo-wee. Okay, there we bring down the size by half. Okay, and this is going to help you, like any song that you think has like a good like lead sound to it is like, dude, just pick a Soldano extended range, and you'll be already there. Okay, I'm an idiot. Delay. TikTok, hello. Gail Hunter is joining, still there. K Barker, what's up, guys? Joseph. Brand the Babe, what's up, guys? All right, so for delay, I really need to get, I really need to have my, my phone like set up right here. That'd be really good. I usually have a dyne delay, Doc Dyne lead. Okay, pretty good stuff. Now what we can do, let's experiment with our gain here. Let's just bring the gain down pretty low. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is, let's go ahead and save this. Save new preset. This is going to be called Doc SLO. Let's do low. Okay, then we'll bring this back up, maybe in like the 30-ish range. And then we'll save this one as Doc SLO high. So we got a low gain and a high gain option, if that makes any sense. Okay. And then what we're going to do in our scenes, actually let me do one more thing. I'm going to add another amp. Let's turn off that amp right now. Let's just do a little Soldano trick, okay? So here's our SLO clean. And from here, we're going to bring it for preamp. Bring down our presence. Make sure the bright is off. Maybe turn up our bass. Turn down our treble. Okay, and all these EQ settings are really going to be dependent on your guitar and what kind of pickups you have. Okay, so I'm using single coils right now, and they're coming off a little bright. If you have a humbucker style guitar, then it probably won't be as bright. And just for example, let me go ahead and switch this thing out, okay? Let me show you real fast how this works. So I'm going to pick a guitar that has naturally darker sound to it, okay? Check it, check 1, 2. Okay, this one is the Kiesel Aries. Okay, it's got a maple, purple heart maple thing to it. There we go. Move that out of the way. I've done something. I've moved my camera. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna slide this thing over like that. There we go. We're back in business. All right, so we're back on humbuckers now, and this is a little bit darker than usual. So let's check our clean sound. So this is a really good example of do not adjust the amp settings with your eyes, because you may not even know what a real Soldano sounds like or how it works, which I've never played one myself, other than just the model that you get on a Mahler or like a Fractal or Headrush or something. So to me, I'm just going to pull down the treble until it sounds right to my ears and then call it good. Okay, so I think the treble sounds best with, you know, it's down a little bit. I can maybe bring up the mids. And then here's the middle position. And maybe just for fun, bring the presence up. Because the presence and the treble are going to adjust boost or cut different frequencies, not just ranges, but actually different frequency like points. So bringing down the treble and bringing up the presence might give you a little bit more sheen on top without being so bitey, or vice versa. If that makes any sense at all, hopefully it does. I'm gonna save that now. And what did I save it as? Just Soldano clean. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is go into my scenes. We're going to switch this around. So we're going to have that be a scene, that be a scene, and that be a scene. So we're going to have 3 different scenes. My amp 2. What is my amp 2? Amp 2 is the clean one. So we're going to go to my Soldano. And we're just going to make it clean, okay? And then this amp is going to be off, or delay can be on, or reverb, or cab can be on. And then this is going to be called clean, okay? The second one, amp 2 is going to be off, amp 1 is going to be on, and go to my preset, which is going to be at the bottom here. And I call these dock something. So dock SLO low, delay off, reverb on, cab on. And then adjust that. We're going to call it crunch. Actually, I like the word rhythm better. So just RHY. And then I'm going to go ahead and call this one lead. And we'll edit that. So amp 2 off, amp 1 on, delay on, reverb on, cab on. And then make sure that the preset is set to your dock slow high. Let's get that right there, dock slow high. So once you make these block presets once, you don't have to make them again, which is great. So this is going to be called SLO. SLO HTS June 26. Okay? Hope that makes sense. So now I've set up my scenes to where I can go from clean and then go to rhythm. And if you notice that my gain is at 8 right now, okay? Let me show you via here. Now if I hit my lead scene, see how the gain moves up to 37? There's my clean back, and then I go over here, and that switches the amp off, and I have now switched over to a different amp. So I'm on crunch, then lead. Okay. Go to my delay and make sure that the tails are on. They are. Go to my reverb, make sure those tails are on. Okay. And now you can use that lead sound with in the comfortably numb tune, and that can be like, hey, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a Sodano now versus whatever I had before, which is a clean amp with a blues breaker pedal. I mean, it literally doesn't matter. If it has the gain structure that you need to get that cool lead sound, then it doesn't matter. No one in the crowd is going to know which amp you're using or which delay you're using or whatever. As long as you're playing the parts of the song and you're playing those convincingly, like I said, with enough riz and stage presence and audience participation and all this stuff, it literally doesn't matter. You can stay on this one SLO rig all night and be like, great, I got a clean sound. Cool. Right? Then you go to a little crunch. Now, that might be a little too high gain for some things. So let's bring the gain all the way down. Okay, so great. Gain all the way down. I'm going to go ahead and save that. So now if I switch back, notice how the gain stays down, right? And then going over here. Okay, and there's my lead. Okay. Now you can go a little bit farther in here if you want. I do have my delay on or off. I have a tap tempo. You can hit the bank switch, and you can have 5 more switches to assign if you had more things to do. But in this case, we don't. And yeah, just keep things really simple. If you wanted a compressor in there, you could add a compressor. Let's actually go ahead and add a compressor. Let's just do that for fun. I'm going to do a little Dynacomp default. Let's bring the threshold down. Gain down. Bring it back back up. Okay. Okay, now we're going to go back into our scenes, and this comp is going to be on, and this scene the comp is going to be off, and then this scene the comp is going to be off. Okay, so okay, a little rhythm. All right, now I'm hearing some volume discrepancies, so let me show you how I get around that. I'm going to go check my output right here. And I want mine to be as close to 0 as I can without getting into the yellow. So I'm going to go to my clean sound here. I'm going to bring this up by like 4 dB or so. Turn down my master volume. Okay, it's closer to 0. Going over to the rhythm sound now. Notice how the gain or the volume goes down. So I'm going to bring my output level up pretty good. And then go to my output level. And I'm peaking out at the same level as I was before. Going to my lead. That's about 5 dB. And once again, I'm hitting the same level. So that's all you really want to do is to be consistent across all your rigs and scenes and whatever else, whatever amps you have in the rig. You want to dial in that output level to where you're hitting the same mark, regardless if it's clean, crunch, or lead. So that way, if you go in and like... here's my clean sound, right? And then you can do a little rhythm. I didn't save it for some reason. Let's go here, hit save. And same thing for here. Save, 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 save. Alright, sorry, I gotta adjust these things again because I didn't save it for some reason. Because I'm an idiot. Okay, going back here. Alright, that one's correct. So I'm doing all that at the amp output level versus trying to adjust the rig level each time, because you can't adjust these things. These are global parameters that you can't store within a scene. Fractal has scene volumes, which is cool. But yeah, Jeff Neffley, what's up, guy? Carl Mason, hello. I'm live over on YouTube, so if you want to join me over there, you can. All right, for a viewer suggested Headrush rig, nobody's giving me suggestions, so I need you guys to step it up here and let me know what you want me to build. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep building generic whatevers, and I've already been going for an hour, so this might be the last one if I don't get any more suggestions. The first one was Pink Floyd. This one is a good all-around rig. And actually, I'm going to go edit this one, make sure that delay is off. I want the delay off on that. And same goes for my rhythm. All right, let's just for fun. This is one way to do high gain, right? Um, what I'm going to do is hit save and then save new rig. So it's going to keep the same rig, but I'm going to rename it. This is going to be Plex machine. Kind of like a sex machine, but a Plex machine. And all I'm going to do is actually, let's do this. I just double tapped on the name, so June 26. Okay. All I'm going to do is I'm going to switch out the amp. We're going to use one amplifier to rule them all here, okay? And this one is going to be a plexiglass 50 watt. Okay, and what we have to do is we're going to adjust our volumes so we get clean. Something like that. A little normal volume here, treble down. Adjusting that one, maybe the presence down. And then output level is still good, bass is good. Okay, now I don't know if I have this saved or not. Let's just save as a new preset. So doc, Plex. Let's get a little capital P in there. Low. Okay. Then going back, we're going to do a little higher gain, a little higher volume. More treble. Something like that. Okay. Turn that back down, that back up. All right, what I'm going to do, check my volumes real fast. Okay, very good. Let's save this one. Save new preset. And this is doc. Plex mid. Or medium. Okay. So we got low, medium, and high. You can kind of get the gist of what I'm doing here. So I'm going to bring up the high volume now and bring down the low, bring down the treble. All right, and I think I got those sound pretty good. So save new preset, doc, Plex, and then we got high. Okay. So now my job, now that I've made my block presets, which you can't do in any other unit, the Headrush is exclusive to that. Okay. So now we're going to go into our different scenes and simply make sure the amp is on and then go to our preset down here. Okay. So doc Plex low, and that comp is on. Go to our preset again. Doc Plex medium. Then on this one, there's going to be guess what? Doc Plex high. Okay. And all those should be the same. So now we got clean. It says just check our volumes here. Okay, looks good on that one. Actually, we'll stay on that. And then go here. Then go to our high. Okay, so see what I did there? I basically, first, I kind of set up a rig of how I want it to be laid out. I could have a tube screamer in there if I really wanted to. That'd be cool. Let's actually go ahead and do that. Let's just throw it in. JRC. Low. So drive down, level up. And what I can do is I'm going to take off my delay and put in the JRC on that one. So this gives me a little bit of flexibility because my scenes are already turning on and off my delay as I need it. And then I still got my tap tempo right here. And then I can turn on or off my JRC. But they're not going to be on in any of these right here, I don't think. Let's go in. Let's just go in and edit. So I don't want that to be no change. I want that to be off. This one's going to be off. And then this one's going to be off. Okay. Now this is, if you're not used to this workflow, then you're like, man, you got to really go a lot, you're going back and forth between the different screens and the scenes and the edits and the block presets. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's a thing, but once you get the block presets made, you only got to make them once. Then you can reuse them across all your other rigs however you want. And then in this case, I'm basically making myself a template to where I got my clean rhythm and lead. I have my JRC I can kick in anytime that I want, and all that kind of fun stuff. So here's my clean. Okay. Okay, here's a rhythm with a little JRC. And then here's a lead. Okay, something like that. Then when I go back to my clean, my JRC turns off because I forced it to be off. On the scene there. All right, TikTok, I'm going to say bye to you tonight. Thank you for hanging out. We'll see you later. Next time I will make sure to have my phone like actually over the unit so people on TikTok can see what I'm doing. Now we have another one here. We got Shady Lady. What's up, girl? How about a good clean sound, maybe using tremolo delay? I have a huge amount of electrical interference in my apartment and can't use any gain distortion. That is interesting. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you maybe have tried a good power conditioner from the wall. You might want to go to Lowe's or even go to Sweetwater or Zounds and look up power conditioners and see if that helps you in your noise solutions. Okay? Now, since we have our template right here, what I can do, I'm going to make one more. So hit save, save new rig. This is going to be clean, trim, delay. DLY. Actually, not DIY. GLY. We'll say June 26 in there. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to swap this out with a little Princeton reverb, shall we? And or actually, we got a deluxe, we got a Princeton. Let's do a Princeton right here. Okay. So I'm going to bring down that volume, and we're going to bring up the output level. Let's turn off our compressor. Now, once again, if you have single coil pickups or humbuckers, you are going to hear this slightly differently when you download the rig or try to dial it in yourself, right? So it just really depends on your pickups, your guitar, your hands, your ears, how you prefer to hear things, okay? Now, this one is going to be cool. So we're going to go, this one already has the tremolo built in. And let's see what our presets are here. Dock mod, Plexstone, SLO. Okay, I have not made a preset for this yet. So save new preset. Dock. PRCL for clean. And then once again, we're just going to dial all this in from the get-go and then add those block presets to our scenes. Okay, we're going to turn down our intensity here. Dude, you are intense. A huge transformer. Well, this is life. You know, sometimes you got to roll with the punches. And I'm being very serious, by the way. That's just what you got to do. We could have been born in the 1800s and not have the experience of electrical guitar amps for real. So PR, so Princeton trim. Okay, so there's that one. And then we're going to crank the mother up. Bring our output level back down. Turn off our vibrato. Bass down. Okay, saving this block preset as Dock. Dock PR lead. Okay. Then going to our scenes. The first scene is going to be our amp on. We're going to go choose our block preset, which was Dock PR clean. And then the comp is on, all the other stuff is on. For our rhythm, we're going to choose the Dock PR trim. See, PR trim. And we can actually change the name to trim, like so. And then we're going to change this one. You know what? It's going to be Dock PR lead. Okay, so we're literally using. It's very similar to the stadium, as in when you create your scenes, or your snapshots on the Line 6, family of products. They call them snapshots instead of scenes. So when you create snapshots, you have the ability to have a certain parameter be affected by a snapshot or be turned on in a snapshot, which means you can go from one snapshot to the next. And if you have that gain parameter assigned to be, snapshotable, for a better term, then you can just go from scene 1, set your gain, scene 2, set your gain, and then as you switch your snapshots, you're going to see the gain move up and down. On the Headrush, you can't do that. You have to create your block presets first, and then you have to go in and assign those block presets to your scenes. So it's a little bit slower, but it's actually better, I think, because you have the ability to store different block presets and recall those on any other rig that you want. And all you have to do is just do the work once, and you can have the benefit of applying those to everything else. So, Shay Lady, what guitar do you use? I can switch to a different guitar if I need to. Okay, so going back to my clean. Let me make sure I'm in tune here. Something tells me I'm a little out. Once again, if you want to help support the channel, you can click my affiliate links down below to Sweetwater, Amazon, or Zounds. I also have all these rigs available on my website, which I'll upload these either probably tomorrow night. I gotta go to bed here pretty soon, but you can access all the previous years of HTS rigs that I've done here on the channel for one low price of $30. And that's just a way to say thanks for what I do and teaching and inspiring and doing all the stuff. So, or otherwise, you just grab your Headrush and you can follow along in the video and make the rig yourself. It doesn't matter to me. But if you want to save some time and support me at the same time, then just pay the fee, go download the rigs, and then we'll all be happy. So, so here's your trim. Yeah, that's cool. Now for that scene, I want the comp to be on. So I'm gonna set that to be on. So here we go. You are not going to find a better sound than that, guys. I mean, all the maulers sound great, but for the price point that you get with the Headrush, those tones are buttery smooth. I just love them. Very cool. You use the Yamaha Pacifica. I did a review of that guitar on my channel. I did not have the professional version. I just had like the standard middle range. But yeah, the Reflectone pickups are very cool. Definitely really cool. Then here's the lead. Alright. I'm going to have some fun here. I'm going to go add a clon. Where's my clon? Clon. K drive is what it is. Alright, so the Klon is going to give you not as much mid-range honk as the other thing. But I will put the K drive right there. Let's go and make sure our edits. Turn that off. Let's turn that off. And then we'll turn that off. So that way we can choose to turn it on if we need to, but it'll stay off regardless in our scenes. Right, let's turn down that level. So if I save that, these settings now will be by default. Okay. So let's go here. Alright, so that volume there, that jumped up pretty high. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to adjust the output level just a little bit down and then resave that. So when I hit it, yes, that is correct. I will have these rigs uploaded more than likely tomorrow. Okay, I gotta go to bed here pretty soon, but the blocks will be assigned. Yes, everything, the rig as is will be ready to go. Nothing more for you to do, and I don't know how to do that yet. And you're going quite fast. Well, this is just a very simple mechanism of you add your blocks just by touching empty block, going into different things, and just adding whatever you want. Okay? And then while you're in a block, like the amp block, for example, you're going to either choose a preset, which they already have presets made for you per block, or you can change the model. But ultimately, you're going to want to store whatever settings you create right here. You're going to want to store those by hitting the save button, right? Or you can do a save new preset and then rename it to be something else. And then go change your settings again, save as new rig or new preset, change it again, save as new preset. So now you got a few different presets you've made. And then you go into your hardware assign, and for each one you got latch, momentary, or you got scene. So you want to change the block to be a scene, or you want to change the switch to be a scene. And then, because if you have it set to latch, it just literally means you turn it on or off. You could have it set to momentary, which means as long as you have your foot on the switch, like right now, if I change this to momentary, if I keep my finger down, it'll be on. Once I take my finger off, it goes off. That's what momentary means. Okay? Or I can change this over to a scene, then click on edit, and then from there, you'll want to either have your blocks either be on, off, or no change, depending on what you want it to do. And for every scene, you can make that happen. You can also click the plus and now have two switch states per switch. So you can technically have two different scenes on the same switch. So if you wanted to, I could have a clean, then hit the switch again and then turn on my tremolo. Then this one be a crunch and this one be more of a lead. But either way, it really doesn't matter. And I have plenty of videos on this. You can also read the manual. The manual is a very light read and fun to read and has good information in there. And there's my clean. Definitely check my Headrush playlist on my website for more in-depth tutorials. But there's like new people that are just buying this thing for the very first time and they don't know what to do, nor do they know how to read a manual. So I will more than likely do a back to basics kind of beginner series here, starting next week. And that might be good for everybody just to kind of refresh your memory on how to use these things and where to push, where to turn, how to do things, whatever. And this is really cool. So if I wanted to have everything on the same line, I can just literally drag my finger around. And I haven't changed the sound. I just changed the order and where they show up. Right? So that's right. There is a manual. I know. It's hard. Life is hard sometimes. And sometimes you need to read the manual for things. Like that time me and my dad tried to put together a basketball goal. And we tried to do it by ourselves. And then we had to redo it 3 times because we didn't read the manual and we didn't know where to put the bolts and the things and the springs and the whatever. But so I personally try to read the manual for everything when I can. Like here's the manual for the Kemper Profiler stage, right? This is a good light read. It's really only 20-ish pages or so. And you can learn a lot about a unit or a piece of or a product by reading the manual, seeing how the manufacturer prefers you to use it and their suggestions on how to use it. But the Headrush manual, I think I have a physical one somewhere, but the Headrush one, you can just go to headrusheffects.com and go to your product page and then click on downloads, I think, and you can download the manual from there. And it gives you nice big shiny images with arrows pointing to different things and telling you what they are and all the stuff. And it'd be really fun. So that's really all my videos have ever been. It's just video manuals, essentially. Yes, but I learned how to use a Headrush 8 or 9 years ago, and it's just muscle memory at this point. So I really don't have to think. I just touch, turn, move, shift, push things around, and then start playing. Oh, I forgot. I have that set to momentary. I'm going to put it back on latch. There we go. All right, guys. I think that's pretty good for an hour and a half worth of work. I can build rigs, but I've never assigned them to pedals or learned what the pedals do. Well, there you go. The manual's great for that. So just remember you got latch, momentary, or scene. So those are your 3 options for the foot switches. And do you have the core or the prime or the flex prime? Which one do you have? Which one do you have, shady lady? Now the Flex Prime is the smallest of the units, and it only has 3 foot switches. So obviously you're limited on what you can do there. I like the core because it's a good size for my desk, and it also has just enough switches for me to assign or set up 3 different scenes and still have an extra stomp and still have a tap tempo. And if I need to, I can long press the bank AB switch and get to my second bank of switches. So now I can assign more things to do on these switches over here, which is cool. No hold. What in the world? Weird. Okay. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm going to go eat some cereal and then go to bed because that's what I do. All right, you have the core. That's great. All right, thank you so much for checking out the stream tonight. Shay Lady, we got Rita in the house, Retta, Dwight Bailey. What's up, Dwight? You the man. And Gargatua 52. Let's see, how to transfer IR from Windows to Headrush Gigboard, because every time I try, it does show in pedal. It does not show in the pedal. So you have to hook up a USB cable from your USB port on the computer to the Headrush. And then you will go into, this is going to be different for you because you have a gig board. But you're going to go into USB transfer or something like that. Yeah, it's going to be USB transfer. And you're going to start the transfer process. So that way a Headrush icon shows up on your desktop. You're going to double click on that Headrush icon. Then you're going to see a bunch of folders called rigs, block presets, whatever they are. Also, you're going to see an IR folder. So you're going to drag and drop all your IRs into that folder, and then you're going to, what do you call it? You're going to right click on, what do you call this thing? You're going to eject, thank you. I've lost the word there. You're going to eject the Headrush icon from your desktop, then go back to your Headrush and click on sync. And then that will sync everything. I'm going to do the same thing here when I get these rigs off the core and then put them on my website. Same exact process. So you're basically just syncing everything to your computer, dragging and dropping your files into the appropriate folders, and then you're syncing back your Headrush from the computer back to the unit. And now you will see the IRs in your IR slots when you go choose that block in your rig. Okay? Hope that makes sense. I do have a link in the description for Sonic DNA. We collaborated a few years ago and we made some IRs based on my 2x12 cab that has a vintage 30 and a greenback. And we used the SM57, the 421, and the Royer 121 microphones in different combinations. And they sound great, and they're a good solution if you don't want to use stock cabs. But I just always use the 250, the B30, which is a 2x12 vintage 30. And it sounds good. Yeah, it sounds more than good for what I want. I didn't even bother changing the microphone because it just sounded fine to me. So it is what it is. My. What's up, My? How's it going? All right, everyone have a great night. Oh, sorry. My Cloudburst reverb has a red question mark on it. Hasn't worked since. Download any fix. Cloudburst reverb. I'm assuming that you added a file into your Cverb pedal. I'm assuming. So let's just go. Let's go to Headrush and go to like spaces and then chambers and whatever and hit click load. Right, so you want to make sure that the file is on the unit and that it's loaded up in your C verb right there. Okay, that's what you're going to want to do. That's what you're going to want to do with that. But when in doubt, read the manual. Okay? If you still have questions about it, you can contact me on my website. Link in the description, drmcfarlandstudios.com. And we will get it figured out for you. No trouble there. Okay? All right, guys. Have a great night. I will see you in the next video. Keep rocking.